just signed a deal just now before we got on the phone. And it's somebody that I knew for 20 years ago. We were partners, and we went our separate ways. And then he saw what I've been doing because I trained him. He took a company public, which I used to do, and now he's hiring my company to grow their business, to produce sales. So we just looked at the contract. We temporarily solidified, but that's what I do, man. I produce sales every single day, and I teach entrepreneurs. I don't know if you had a chance to look at my YouTube channel, but
absolutely,
I eat, breathe, and live what I do, and a lot of entrepreneurs focus on the wrong things, in my opinion. And I focus on sales. I don't, marketing, advertising, I get all that. But I produce sales, man. I don't need a lot of followers. If they come, they come. If they don't, they don't. I don't need window shop. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. You understand numbers. You understand, you know what to do with one customer. You're not worried about having to maybe get 10 customers. Somebody else may need 10, and you can just sell one. That's what I'm understanding.
Well, here's the thing is, I produce more than one sale every single day. I got 5 clients that I deal with, and I produce sales for each and every one of them. So in other words, I'm producing sales for them at every level, but I don't need to produce more sales for me. But now I'm starting to, because I'm hiring more salespeople, because now I used to run a call center in Las Vegas, 250 people, and they call me back because they need products. So now I may have a call center to sell my training program. You know what I mean? So
that's a plus.
Yeah, so that's what I used to do before. So, producing sales is not difficult for me. It's just if I have to produce sales for my services, I can't service people as much as I would like to because my time is limited. But I produce sales for the people I have. And now I'm offering more of my services because now I'm hiring more people. Does that make sense? So I'm never at the mercy of sales or followers or anything like that. But if I need to grow it, I can grow it.
I agree. That makes total sense, and I want to. I say commend, but I want to say I appreciate you for having that experience, and you was able to quickly share it with me.
Okay.
But also, my second question is what step? You right now, you at the status. I say maybe king throne status, maybe gold, maybe I don't know whatever you want. And you've got other customers, so your own business. What steps or what accomplishments or what jobs did you take or what different things that you?
Well, it depends. I have a real estate client, I have a janitorial client, I have a digital marketing client, I have a real estate client, I have a bank that's a client, and I have an insurance company that's a client. And what I do for them is I either teach an entrepreneur how to sell for their business. I could teach them that. If they have salespeople, I can teach their salespeople how to increase their sales by 30% a month. I can build the selling process for them if they have weaknesses in the selling process. Or if they want to build a sales team, I can do that as well. So either way, I cannot lose because either way, it produces sales. And I call that the vehicle. So as far as needing services and things like that. If I want to blow up my social media, I could. But I don't focus my energy on that because that's time consuming, where people do that because they're trying to create a brand and they're trying to get out there and get people to take action on their product and services. I don't need to do that. I just cold call people. I have a client that I teach their salespeople how to produce $22,000 to $40,000 a week on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And a line of those. So I have what they call the 5-5-5 rule. I don't know if you saw that video.
I gotta check that out for sure.
Yeah, I just posted that on my Instagram. I was talking with a prospect from LinkedIn, just like you, and I told him about my 5-5-5 rule, where I get my people to get 5 leads a day, 5 follow calls a day, and 5 sales a week, which is 1 a day, which is nothing. So at the end, they're producing between 22 to 40 grand a week just getting leads on Facebook. No advertising, no boosting. You know what I mean? So it's all. So it's all about targeting sales. In other words, if let's say I'm looking at you and I'm looking at your business, right? I'll know if I can help your business grow in sales or not. You know, I could look at real estate agents. I could look at, computer companies. I could look at anything. And at the end, what do you want? You want sales, right?
Absolutely.
You want sales because nobody's going to know your brand unless you're producing sales. That makes sense?
That makes total sense, and that clears it. I mean, I was on this. Like, believe it or not, you're gonna be surprised. I worked my business for 10 years to get here, but I've been on sales for the last 2 days now. And believe I ran into your post yesterday.
Right.
So I'm all over. I'm all over you, man.
Right.
Like,
well, I appreciate that. Well, I hope sincerely, because I call people when they like my postings. There are times I call people and ask them why do they like my content, and if they can't answer them, I ask them to don't unfollow me because I want to share with you what's going to help you. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
That makes sense. What about this stuff on the screen?
What?
I want whatever it takes to, I think I'm pretty sure I called you on, you asked me which 5, I said number, I said I wanted sales.
Number 5, you said 5. Right.
Yeah, right. So, yeah.
Okay, so let me tell you why I do this, and I do it this way. Because after being in sales for 30 years, I've dealt with billion-dollar companies. I deal with billion-dollar companies every day. But at the end, when the smoke clears, it comes down to simplicity, right? Because of social media, everything is fast. People want the quick action. They want the excitement. But at the end, when it's time to do the right thing, you can't do it. So what I try to do is I created a methodology called the 7 pillars of business. Every business owner, you, me, no matter how big it is, these are the 7 pillars I focus on so that we can have a conversation, not a debate, right? So at the end of the day is we all agree that we need better leads and prospects, right? We all agree we need to get those leads and convert them into sales, so we have to learn how to sell. We all agree we need a selling process to create those leads to sale, and then we need good salespeople, right? But at the end, we all want cash flow. But you can't get cash flow unless you produce sales. So I focus on sales and cash flow. And we all want to grow our revenue, and we all want to produce high profit margins. So how do you do that, right? So that's what I go into. The first 4, the targeted leads, how to convert those leads into sales, the selling process, and salespeople. That's the vehicle to the destination. What's the destination? Sales. But people don't like to do the selling. That's why they use a lot of gimmicks. They use a lot of posting and creative video because they want people to take action to click on it. I don't wait for that. I go for it. I go for it. So if you could focus on sales and cash flow, number 5, now you could be smarter about advertising and marketing and investing money smart. I'd rather invest money on people than doing a lot of advertising. That's important, but not when you're a small business, because if my audience is small business owners, entrepreneurs, why am I going to target hundreds of millions of people when there's a small amount? Right? So, but every business owner needs my services. Everybody needs a salesperson. Every business needs a closer. Every business needs sales. So why don't you focus on becoming a powerful salesperson, knowing how to close, because then your value is here.
It's tremendous. Shoots to the roof, huh?
Hey,
Okay, so you said focus on becoming a better salesperson, so your value is here. But
yes.
Something else. Yes.
Yes.
That's something.
And let me ask you this. What is a salesperson? What is that? What does that mean to be a salesperson? See, people are embarrassed about it. I don't like salespeople. I don't like to be sold. Well, guess what? You're being sold every day. When having a conversation is selling. So what happens, a salesperson is like a doctor. They're a professional problem solver. What do they solve? They solve sales problems. Right?
Sales. You said sales pain.
Salespeople solve sales problems. Right?
Right.
So what happens is, when you look at it, everybody is a salesperson. Everybody. The guy at McDonald's. When you're meeting a girl that you want to take out, you want to go on a date, you got to give it a rap, right? You got to have G, right? You got to have game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay? So she's got to have a game too. So she's selling her to, So we're all selling. We're all communicating. The thing is that I understand and know it and accept it, and I just become really good at it. Become really good at it. But you also, as a salesperson, you have to know and understand your audience, what you could really do for them. What are their real issues? So everybody has an objection, but you as a salesperson, you better have some very powerful rebuttals.
If you're not ready, you better be ready.
Well, if not, you're going to have some hard lessons that's going to take you longer for your growth. So it's like, I'm a martial artist, right? So you think I'm going to go in the ring and fight somebody unless I train and I know my opponent's weaknesses are? No, of course not. If I go into a conversation with $1 billion company like I do every day, if I don't have my game on, how am I going to, if I don't even know the little basic things, how am I going to get on a video conference with you unless I know what I'm talking about? Unless I know what you need, unless I know what you want, unless I know what you really need to do to grow your business. It makes no sense to do that. That's called mental masturbation. Does that make sense? You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So, so I like to keep it straight. I like to keep it real. And I generally like to, offer value to people, because at the end of the day is, like right now, I just signed on a client. They just hired me, and my ticket item is $100,000 minimum. But at the end, it's the same thing. It's just a different audience. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense. And you're going to get them to pay. Okay, so that type of thing for me, this is where I noticed you on LinkedIn. So I got my 2 questions answered, and you blew the crowd off the roof.
I'm sorry.
So that's cool. Like, and now, like, you are selling tickets now. You're into that game again. You're selling. You say you got 100,000. So is this a solo course? You're gonna do one-on-one?
No. What this course is, this is not even a course. This is a client that just hired me, that wants to hire my services. So what they do is they pay me an upfront fee, because see, one of the things is time is very valuable. I know what I offer, right? People want me to I'm writing a book, and people are asking me to put a course online. And the reason why I don't have a course is because I don't want people spending money on a course that they won't use. So what I do is I do one-on-one. I teach people one-on-one. That way, when they pay me, they're getting value, because I'm a hands-on guy. I don't just tell you, read this and just do it. No, we do it together. I cold call. I teach my people how to cold call. My clients, they get on the phone and cold call. Matter of fact, earlier, I had 7 prospects on a Zoom call in El Paso. 7 businesses that I said, if I get you a lead on the cold call in front of everybody, you hire me for my services. I got 5 of 7.
5.
Right there. Because the other 2 I wasn't able to get through. But what they saw was that if they need any proof of what I could do, I just do it live. I don't need to sugarcoat. I'm that good. Now, they could have hung up on me, right? It would have looked bad, but I'm not afraid of that risk. Because I understand when I get on the phone and I call somebody and they give me a minute of their time, they're done. I already know where I'm going to go with it. Because I targeted them. I know their business, their industry, their rebuttal, their objection. I know what I need to share with them because I've been doing it a long time. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? So, So I charge depending on what it is a client needs, right? So certain clients need, if they need me to build a sales team, a certain amount, because that takes time. If they have a sales team and I need to work on them, then I have to set up a time. It'll be a certain amount of hours. I will charge that. If I'm training them one-on-one, if they're hiring me to do the sales for them, then it's a different price. But every client of mine always get their money back on the first sale, all the time.
Absolutely.
That's what I do.
Okay. So you're talking to the cheapest guy in software right now, just to let you know.
What's cheap? Cheap what? Cheap what? Pricing or cheap in work? See?
I'm going to at least go with the first one.
Okay.
Okay, and
first of all, never use that word cheap. I'm going to teach you something. Never. Because then you're not giving yourself the value, or you're giving yourself the wrong value, right? If you have some value, just say, right now my budget is not as much as I would like it to be, right? That's what you need to say. But if you say cheap, that tells me, well, do I even spend time with this guy because of the way you said?
Yeah, I feel that, so I won't use that anymore. I'll leave that.
Yeah, listen, I have a certain budget, that I could afford. That's what you got to say. Not just for me, because I understand, and for me, it's about teaching, right? But if I was another guy, they would have just said, I'm not interested, whatever. But I'm not going to do that to you because I've been in your shoes before. And no one sat down and told me not to use those words. So I learned by the school of hard knocks. But if I have a chance to teach and care for somebody and share, that's what I'm going to do. So you use the word, listen, I don't have a high budget, right? That at least gets people engaged with maybe your value to them. Say, hey, he's valuable. He don't have money. Maybe I could work with him.
That's true.
You see what I'm saying? Don't shortchange yourself. Like don't shortchange yourself like that.
Okay, man. That I'm gonna grow on that overnight. Because if I don't live it that way, then I'll never really get to show the value that I'll be blocking my value.
Yeah, you're shooting yourself before you even get in the door. Because at the end of the day, is before I ask a client for money, I always give them my value up front. I don't care if they don't buy from me or they decide to go with somebody else. I would never cheat them that. But I know this, that at the end of the day, whatever price I tell them, they never negotiate. They always pay me because the value I'm giving is worth more than what they could write a check for. Now, if I'm trying to get them to buy because of the price, I'm in trouble. Because they need to see, well, let me ask you this. Why do you like my content? What made you see, what did I do to get you interested in what I'm offering? Is what I did, the way I presented it, my sincerity, nobody's doing what I'm doing. There's not a coach out there. I have coaches calling me. Every coach always talks about money. And if you look at my content, I don't talk about money. I talk about mindset. I talk about attitude. I talk about value. Because to me, if you coming to me to be a salesperson, I'm not going to tell you, I'm going to help you make 20 grand a month when you never made $500 a week. I say with my salespeople, if I could put you in the position to make any amount of money you want, how much can you see yourself making in 1 week? $1,000. Okay, they could live with that. So I put them the vehicle to make $1,000, and they wind up making 2 grand. Now, as they start to make money, now they start to believe they can make 10 grand. But it's not easy making 10 grand. It's just, how much do you believe you can make? You're going to tell me what your value is and what you could really do. But if I told you, hey, I can show you how to make 20 grand, there's going to be a lot of pressure on you that you're not going to be able to do it, and that's not fair to you. So I said, how much do you want to make a week? If you want to make $1,000 a week, I'll show you, I'll put the vehicle where you could put your $1,000. Now, once you get that $1,000, now you got confidence. You believe in what you're doing. You believe in what we're doing. Now I say, okay, let's do 2,000. It's the same process. It's just the mentality.
Okay.
So
I'm with that.
Let me ask you a question. So let me ask you a question before you ask me. What's the difference between $1,000 and $10,000? Never asked that, right?
No, I never been asked that. I want a chance to answer it.
That's it.
If it's a question you would expect the answer for.
Yeah, I want you to answer. What do you think? I just want to see what you're thinking.
You need how much somebody needed in their value. The zero on the end.
There you go. That's it. It's just a zero. You're gonna work just as hard for $1,000 sale than a $10,000. It doesn't change. What changes your mentality? You start to think with your pocket and not what your audience can afford. So the higher the ticket item, the easier the sale is for me. Because if somebody's gonna rob a bank, they're gonna rob $300 million. They got a negotiation table, right? But if you rob $3,000, you're going to jail. You ain't got shit to negotiate with, right? So why not pitch the same energy, the same passion you're going to put in a $1,000 deal? It's the same as $100,000. The only thing that changes is the person that can write the check. That's it. It's no different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yes. I came in here with at least one position because I didn't want to come in here and try to run the meeting for myself. I wanted to kind of, get something from you as far as what you kind of do, what you're working on, what you've done to get there. And then you gave me more value on kind of myself a little bit. But I had one. Question for like my company, which was I'm working with you call it a virtual assistant now.
Mm-hmm.
And like you say, it's so much value in the comment section and the people that like your content. So I kind of want to get him to be able to, because I seen it from Grant Cardone. When I seen one of his guys reached out to me because I was in Grant's comments and he said, hey, I'm a representative for Grant Cardone, and what he has us reach out to some. I see you're one of his fans. He has us reach out and see where we can help you at in business. So he said, how many people do you have on your sales team? This is all in Messenger. So I want to have, because I make posts that get reactions, and I want to, because I see so much value in that. I could ask a question like, what do you like? What do you like more? Do you like, let's say, A or B? And then a customer answers, I like A. And then a customer answers, I like B. You got 100 customers over here for B. You got 100. And you got a solution for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
You can now talk to A and provide, see where they really need help at, like you say, and then provide. And then you got B over here. And so these are like clients. These are customers. So we got that problem now. Big problem to have. And it's great. And I want to kind of, because he said he want to jump in the company for some shares, 1/100th of a share, which I'm valuing at $10,000. So that's where that word goes out the window.
Right.
So he wants to help, man. We got an advisor the other day. His name is Terry Rice. He said he worked at Entrepreneur Magazine. I did a call with him. So I'm happy to have him. I didn't tell you, I'm for Computer World Monitor, make bands. Slice Feed is our software.
Yeah, I saw some of the businesses you're part of. I get that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, but I don't know nobody who really understands it. Like, so I'm just slow walking it now. So I want help with him, but also we have these shares now. So you talk about being able to find the right client. The last thing you said was being able to basically track them down, and it doesn't. What changes the number or just the client who has the pockets. Right. So I'm looking at, because we have got about 200 shares that I'm looking. It's a private company, 999 total. We got 200 shares I'm looking to you know, like they say, friends and family around, not, you know, approaching them as a job, as a, you know, as a sales again, isn't it? Just like when you're selling the VCs and angels.
Well,
VCs and angels.
Well, I'm a venture capitalist by trade. You know, the movie Wolf in Wall Street, those are my homeboys, Jordan Belfort and all the guys. I trained with them in that time. And I was one of the top producers, and when they were putting that scam, I left and I started my own firm. But you know, back in the day, how big Grant Cardone is, I was big in my day just like that before the internet. I was raising $200 million a year in private equity. I did reverse mergers. I used to trade the Forex. I did all that. And I take the same mindset. See, I look at social media, I take a mutual fund approach. You know what a mutual fund is, right? It's like an IRA, a 401k. You got all these stocks in a portfolio. Well, I look at social media like that. Google, Yahoo, Bing, Better Business Bureau, Facebook. I look at them as stocks. I say, this has this type of audience, this type of audience. They all are the modern day yellow pages now. They're just more of them. You got more access to business, more information to business people. You got more opportunities to make calls. You got more opportunity to make sales. But what happens is people like the quick fix.
Oh yeah.
So,
swallow that pill.
Right, that's why I cold call people on social media. They get surprised. I say, well, my name is Paul Cruz. I'm with the Paul Cruz Show, Paul Cruz Sales Agency. And they're shocked. And I let them know what do you like about my content. I don't want you to like my content unless you're going to use it. Because if you're not going to use it, how am I going to know if my product is valuable unless you tell me it's valuable? I don't need you to follow me. I don't need that.
Man, you on their tails, man. Listen, what is it? It's all been in the first day, so we both in the group called something brain expansion.
Yeah, brain, yeah. Yeah, brain, yeah. I'm on 7 groups there. Yeah, I get a lot of people. I just closed a deal from LinkedIn yesterday. So
kudos, man.
Yeah, so again, what is it? What do you want from me? What is it you're looking to accomplish from this? If you don't mind me asking.
Well, I'm going to take what you already gave me and accomplish. I'm going to accomplish that at scale. It's already in here. I can review that with you right now. And then what I want from you, you've already given me. But now I've given you the thing about probably the best route and how to deliver. You talked about working with your sales agents. So I have no skills on training the sales agent.
Do you have sales agents?
I have one that signed up. I have 2. I have many possibilities, but I have, again, I'm a startup from last year. Our software companies just came to life this year, around March.
Right.
So my goal in the group I just started was to get 1 client a week, me, while I'm building everything. I know you do so much you could possibly understand when you to focus on one thing. You have to take it. Okay, so now I added one very eager sales agent. He wants to do anything he can. I offered him.
Right.
So that we're paying shares right now. Now, I mean, we can talk price. So I could train them, but if you got a price or a certain
what I could do is what I would do in your position, because it's hard to see. One of the things is I'll let you go with this. There's 4 levels of. I want you to write this down because this is important for you. There's 4 levels of every entrepreneur. 4 levels, whether you're a $1 billion company or you're starting, there's 4 positions that you need to understand. The first one is you gotta be a visionary. You gotta have a vision for where your business wants to go. And no one sees that vision but you. So you have to be able to be emotional about it, excited about it. It has to be very clear so that you can convey that vision to people, right? So the visionary is a very lonely position because it's only you that sees it. You eat, breathe, and live it every single day. Now, the second position is what you call the thinker. This is the hardest position. You have to think about, you got that vision, now you're going to build a blueprint. In that blueprint, there's going to be certain positions you need to know that you're going to need, but you have to know how to get those people, which means you got to know how to sell them your vision. And thinking is hard because you got to think for a lot of people, right? It's not easy to think. That's why people don't do it. Now, once you have the blueprint, you thought about it, now the third position is you have to be a phenomenal salesperson in your company. Because if you don't know how to sell your vision and you don't know how to sell your product, how the hell are you going to be able to train salespeople? You're always going to be at their mercy because now you need salespeople to sell what you have when you can't afford to pay salespeople. So when you're a salesperson at that level, you pre-market, you put out what you have to people. Even if they don't buy, they're going to give you feedback. That's free information that you can fix your product and it doesn't cost you anything. And when you fix the problem and they help you with it, they become your clients because they were part of it. So you got to know how to sell. You got to be a salesperson. That's my favorite part. Then the fourth position is the CEO or the Chief Executive Officer. That's the general contractor. They are able to understand business, laws, taxes. They know how to negotiate. They know how to motivate people, inspire people. They execute that blueprint. You got to know those positions. And the number one thing that you really have to be good at is you got to know how to sell. Because at the end of the day, there's three industries that no matter how bad the economy is, no matter what happens in the world, there's three industries that everybody needs. Businesses need attorneys, businesses need CPAs, and businesses need salespeople that can produce sales.
Absolutely. Well,
And you can go anywhere. You can go anywhere in the world and sell. Matter of fact, I used to be a rapper and a DJ and a breakdancer, right, in the 70s and 80s. So a musician is just like a professional storyteller. A salesman tells stories with word. They create emotion. They create excitement. They give value. They make people take action. They get people to sing and dance and cry and feel good and all that. Those are the four positions you need to learn.
absolutely. I feel that. And I couldn't have some. So, yeah, I'm going to learn that. RSVP, I don't know what that means, but I'm going to definitely learn that. I'm going to dive into it like it was
right. Yeah, and that's it. So, again, everything comes down to basic fundamentals. Everything. And if you understand the basics and you understand a strong foundation, you could grow and develop and make mistakes because your foundation is strong. But if you're scattered all over the place and you got a lot of things on your table and there's no structure there, you're never going to succeed in anything. You're never going to be good at anything. You may be good at this and good at that, but what are you valuable in?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
And that's where I've been able to
What I could do is what I would do in your position, because it's hard to see. One of the things is I'll let you go with this. There's 4 levels of. I want you to write this down because this is important for you. There's 4 levels of every entrepreneur. 4 levels. Whether you're a $1 billion company or you're starting, there's 4 positions that you need to understand. The first one is you gotta be a visionary. You gotta have a vision for where your business wants to go. And no one sees that vision but you. So you have to be able to be emotional about it, excited about it. It has to be very clear so that you can convey that vision to people, right? So the visionary is a very lonely position because it's only you that sees it. You eat, breathe, and live it every single day. Now the second position is what you call the thinker. This is the hardest position. You have to think about, you got that vision, now you're going to build a blueprint. In that blueprint, there's going to be certain positions you need to know that you're going to need, but you have to know how to get those people, which means you got to know how to sell them your vision. And thinking is hard because you got to think for a lot of people, right? It's not easy to think. That's why people don't do it. Now, once you have the blueprint, you thought about it, now the third position is you have to be a phenomenal salesperson in your company. Because if you don't know how to sell your vision and you don't know how to sell your product, how the hell are you going to be able to train salespeople? You're always going to be at their mercy because now you need salespeople to sell what you have when you can't afford to pay salespeople. So when you're a salesperson at that level, you pre-market, you put out what you have to people. Even if they don't buy, they're going to give you feedback. That's free information that you can fix your product and it doesn't cost you anything. And when you fix the problem and they help you with it, they become your clients because they were part of it. So you got to know how to sell. You got to be a salesperson. That's my favorite part. Then the fourth position is the CEO or the Chief Executive Officer. That's the general contractor. They are able to understand business, laws, taxes. They know how to negotiate. They know how to motivate people, inspire people. They execute that blueprint. You got to know those positions. And the number one thing that you really have to be good at is you got to know how to sell. Because at the end of the day, there's three industries that no matter how bad the economy is, no matter what happens in the world, there's three industries that everybody needs. Businesses need attorneys, businesses need CPAs, and businesses need salespeople that can produce sales.
Absolutely. Well,
and you can go anywhere. You can go anywhere in the world and sell.